Diamond Protoss versus Terran. Okay. This is an angry coach. It's probably going to be about an hour. So we'll call it angry coach hour. Why not? But we're going to go at you rapid fire. Okay. Probe scouting. Are we going to forget the Nexus at all? No. On point. Alright. Microwing for getting the second gas. He could have stolen it, but he didn't. So that was nice of him. Second pylon kind of just randomly goes down because we're losing track of a little bit, but that's okay. And then the probe dies anyways. Pro tip, a Reaper comes out between 2 and 2:05 usually. Maybe a little bit later if they're slow. Alright. So if your probe is near their base at 2:15, it's likely to die. Are we not going to build anything else out of the gateway? Not until that Reaper is dead and gone. So you don't even know he's expanding, by the way. I like how you probe scouted. And you're like, well, my work here is done. The lack of a pylon in front means if he was doing anything cheeky, like if he proxied a factory or something. And I know he only had one guess, so he only has so many options. But if he happened to do something like that, you wouldn't have the ability to create a shield battery, which means you have a much greater ability to just die. But overall, okay, you expanded. We lost the Oracle. Should have had a revelation earlier. But the fact he has a turret and Widow Mines is already information. I don't know how much of this information is being factored into the response. Okay, I'm not entirely convinced it's that much of it. I feel like this is one of those builds. It's like, well, I'm doing the build, and if he's not pulling the boys across the map right now, I'm gonna go about my business. Okay, good scout. I like that you didn't try to kill anything. That was very important. And also, Cloaked Banshees. Did you notice? Oh, God. Run, pro... Oof. Feels like you could handle this a little better. But... Like, why are you walling off your own main? Do you want to get dropped and not be able to defend the back of your base? And it is very common for competent Protoss players to put pylons on the edge of their base, like just a pylon here, to, one, not have your whole main base walled off, essentially, and two, to see this coming with any warning whatsoever. Baited. Well, you kind of fell for that one. Also, you technically knew, because the Tech Lab starport was upgrading, that it was Cloaked Banshee. But that Widow Mine, whatever tenuous hold or grasp you had on defense, is gone, because the Widow Mine drop came in, and now, oh. You also don't seem to have unlocked the mini-map. The mini-map, of course, is used. It's down, like, let me just for you. Okay. So the mini-map is down here. It's where you can see your opponent's units, potentially. I know some people haven't unlocked it yet. But yeah, if you look, then you'll see he's burrowing Widow Mines in your main. So, you did not look, so you know what that means. And he's gonna get out. Well, I don't think he'll get out if you remember what a Phoenix is. So he's killed 14 probes. Overall... Oh yeah, you want... Oh geez. Finally they're dead. But a lot of Terran players at this level will not have a strong follow. Another one. Another one. And they don't stop coming, and they don't stop coming, and they don't stop. The future school of I'm just gonna keep making banshees because they work. So, the entire point, not the entire point, but the main strength of going for this early Stargate build, like Stargate Stalker, is you have a lot of tools for defense, like potential attack, scouting, and defense. You have managed to do almost none of that. So, I would call this kind of a failure, but you did eventually defend, and you took a third, which means you're even in workers still. At least the priorities are still there. Well, your big problem last time was forgetting that robos existed.
Hope you're doing well.
Do you still forget? Thank you, Hopes Nova. Do you remember that robos exist, or are you gonna lose all your stalkers first? Because stalkers, I mean, you do have blink, so you gotta micro them, right? Let's see how it goes. Oh, not great. Because stalkers don't really, like.
Good. Now I have your attention.
Okay, thank you, Andy. Never built a robo this game, don't worry. That's exactly how you're supposed to micro blink stalkers. Alright. You micro in, lose 2 stalkers, kill nothing, blink out. A classic tactic. Why do you think building gateways here is a good idea? You're not playing against Zerg. When he sieges up tanks and has a bunch of bio units, you just created an even worse choke point for yourself. You have plenty of space in the main. Like, this is hurting you. This will hurt you. You are creating your own demise. Oh, maybe, you know what? Still didn't kill the tank. Gotta whittle down that stalker count to free up supply for zealots, I know. And then at some point, usually, like, I'd say if there was a big indicator on the screen, whenever a Twilight Council finished, or whenever a Twilight Council upgrade finished for Protoss players, it just flashed on the screen for 5 seconds. Archons? Question mark? Like, if it just did that, then 30% more Protoss would make it to Masters. Because you got 1,372 gas. You got plenty of gates. You got charge. You have 3 bases. But you've forgotten, well, I'm getting in the mind of a classic Diamond League player who forgets good units exist and then bitches about it. You're gonna get the Templar archives in about 12 seconds. Alright? But 12 seconds is already too late. You could have gotten it 2 minutes ago. So we're saying 9:32. Maybe he needs to lose some more stalkers first. Wait. Wait. But wait. There's 4th. No, I was so close. So close. It's worse than I thought. The problem is worse than I thought. Because right now, let's take a look at the armies. He has this army. You have 11 stalkers, 12 zealots. You could just have fucking, like 5 archons. 5 archons. You slap 5 archons onto this army and you can just roll them over. But instead, for some reason we don't have 2-2. We're jerking off some blink stalkers here, and all we're getting out of it is shot in the eye by siege tanks and marines. I don't think you killed jack shit with the blink stalkers the whole game. Like 2 marines. It's like, no, I need to be active on the map, so that way I don't have to worry about my own domestic problems. Like, there's the Templar archives as we continue to be active on the map while being supply blocked at 133 supply. Unfortunately, it is important to be, like, continually pressuring or scouting. If only there was some sort of unit that was designed, it was cheap, it could fly, maybe even it could be cloaked, though that sounds pretty good. If there was something that could, like a seer, or something like that, like a seer or a watcher or a spectator or something, like, could watch his army without having to lose units. I'm trying to think of it. That would be very good for Protoss to have, because that's something they do struggle with. Should I just go into charge instead of blink? No, you should go into not forgetting Archons. I don't care if you get charge or blink first. If you forget Archons for 5 minutes, it doesn't matter that much. Like, you missed every opportunity to actually go kill him because you're doing whatever the... You know what? Actually, I take it back. You shouldn't get blink, because then you're going to do this, and this is a mess. Blink makes you feel like you should micro-blink stalkers, and that's a classic mistake. Now he's coming across the map. He's tearing through. You don't have Storm. He's just praying you don't. I guess he forgot that... Imagine right now if you had 5 Archons, let alone the upgrades. 5 Archons. He just said a prayer. He went to the Book of Terran Revelations, chapter 4, verse 20. If thou scouteth Templar, thou shalt pray to the Terran gods that the Protoss player does not have a Prima strategy guide, because if he gets Storm, the only counter is whining on the BattleNet forums. Amen. As they say in the scriptures. Can I get an amen? Alright. No. Your solution isn't more gateways. It's building fucking units. Build some goddamn Archons. Like, at least 30% of Protoss games in Diamond would be solved. Solved! Let's see. Let's do the math, alright? Let's see. What is better? 0 Archons or more than 0 Archons? And these are the Archons. You see? Now there's an Archon there in the blue ball. Better. Like, it's a simple math. You're still gonna Protoss. Stop building fucking stalkers. Just build 10 Archon. Come on. Ugh, You haven't built a single... Here's what's gonna happen. How much longer in this game? 8 minutes? Okay. It's not gonna be the first wave of Archons that win the game. Here's what's gonna happen. The second wave of Archons will win the game. Or you'll lose because you literally only have Archons because you lost your whole army. Don't spoil it. I don't know if you win or lose yet. I hope you lose. But now he's got a few... He's going for ranged liberators. The one thing Archons don't have are long arms, which seems like a massive design flaw. But if only we hadn't built all our important tech on the edge of the main. See, this is the first wave of Archons. These ones don't win the game. We're just gonna skip through, skip, lose the army, fuck off, etc., etc. Storm, Terran, Protoss, victory. We're not there yet. Now we lost the army. Second wave of Archons, these guys. That's what we're talking about. We're not there yet. Oh, we gotta throw some stalkers in just to make sure our army isn't too good. Alright, and robotics facility? That we lost that tech to the ancient ones years ago. Alright, some stupid... The ancient scriptures tell of a time when Protoss was able to build mechanical units, but the heretics were burned, and science was rejected, and now we only have our fucking magical wizard Templar, and those are the only ones that are fucking allowed. You know it'd be even better than walking into the liberation zones. I would argue maybe not doing that. Everybody knows it's gone out the window the time of defending two places at once. This one Marine, he's got a dream. A hero Marine, if you will. You see, these are the winning Archons, though. These Archons win the game or get liberated. Those are the two options. Nope. Nope, those Archons. You see, even when they're covered with Cheeto dust, they're still strong. Now, it does affect shields. You do take more damage even if the Archons are Cheeto dusted, which is a technical term, by the way. And so, as it wrote in the book of Terran Revelations, now thou shalt whine on the BattleNet forums, for if Terrans are forced to build anything other than siege tanks and units that start with them, thou shalt be considered blasphemy and shall not be considered at all. Amen. Yeah, he blasphemous Raven. You build a Raven because Protoss is bullshit, but you don't like it. You you slap yourself in the back with a fusion cutter, and you're like, I had to build a Raven, Father. I swear, I did it. Like there was a reason. And then I forgive you for building other units. And the Archons come in, like the Templar and the Archon. Imagine if you hadn't forgotten the Templar archives and a Robo for like 5+ minutes. You forgot the Robo the whole game. Imagine, like, there was literally no reason you couldn't have just had the Templar at least 2 minutes, maybe 4 minutes quicker. I don't remember exactly. And if you had done that, we would have never gotten to this point. We would have never gotten to, like, planetary fortresses and liberators. You would have just killed the first push, and then you win the game. That's it. You want to say toss OP, but you don't even use all the good units. So, there's still 2 minutes in this game, which means there's still time for the Protoss to throw, which is what I'm praying for. I hope the Terran has, like, all these bases.
Yes.
Okay,
Just
there's a dream.
I deserve.
I haven't played since HOTS, but
What do you say the biggest change for Zerg? Wing Muta still works?
Tell me Wing
No,
Muta
substitute
still works.
Hydras for Mutas. Because Mutas died everything. Alright. This is the only scenario when there's like an overlapping Venn diagram of freedom here, looking to liberate all your Archons from their precious 5,000 shield points. That's the only time. Is this when we go back to Stalkers? It's like, now I need to build more Stalkers. Okay, thank God. Alright. Thank you, 60 G4, by the way. My sarcasm detector broke. Well, the summary is he could have gotten Archons and Templar and upgrades way quicker, and he just simply didn't. Like, he just didn't. If he had done that, then this game would never have gotten this far, and he would have won easily. Now he's winning with slightly more effort. It's like, Archons are too fat. They're too fat. I can't figure out how to move them around. Okay, nope, they're too fat. Why you keep going that way? We're gonna flank with the Templar, while the Archons just kind of win the game. So, as you see, the Templar having a big effect while the Archons just kill everything. Meanwhile, the Archons... Well, wait a second. So, this game, guys, this game ends in 20 seconds. He's gonna fucking leave. Our Protoss hero with 72 probes, with 3/3 upgrades, with more bases than your average chemical lab. I don't know. That was I didn't have everything together on that one, but neither did he. I have a great joke for that. He's just gonna leave because, oh, Terran's so hard. I have to micro more than, like, a walrus flopping into the water for these Archons. I gotta flop my little... What do walruses have, like, fins? They got, like... And actually go the right direction. It's like, oh, Terran's so hard to beat. Everybody says Protoss OP. I mean, look at my name. But Terran's so good.
Seems like it's been 29 months. Nearly
You've got...
with my GF.
You've got... like, an entire division. You've got a platoon of charge lots halfway across the map that's about to deny mining on at least one base. You got Templar with Storm. You still got 70 probes. And you're like, that's it. Tap it out, boys. Not only did you forget a Robo, did you forget Templar for too long, but you forgot not to be a bitch. And that is why, my friend, your prospects of Masters are looking like a long and arduous road. I'm giving this game, wait, are you Diamond 2? Because if it's Diamond 2, it's a B-. B for bitch. I'm Diamond 1 now. Okay, so that's going to be a B-. You might be like, why not a C+? No. It's not a C+, or even a C++. It's a B-. So, it's very technical. For those who don't know, like, a normal... It's the hope score. That is my hope. Baseline is C. Below C, it doesn't go much below it.
Just as I deserve.
It is how likely I think you are to move up at least one tier. For the lower leagues, it's a league, but for like Platinum and Diamond, it's a tier. In the next month, if you play a medium amount of games a week, a medium amount of games, 5 per league. 5 for Bronze, 10 for Silver, 15 Gold, 20 Plat, 25 Diamond. So if he plays 25 games a week, which is a bit, it's not a small amount, for the next month, I think there's a possibility he'll move up to Masters. But it's going to be a struggle. That's what I'm getting from that. Did we have that one, Biggie Snacks? By the way, you said you had a different replay. And also we got one from Living Spartan, who is a Silver Protoss. So, I got you. It got timed outed, but I got it. I can still see it. So, we're going to take a look at that after Living Spartan's game. Silver Protoss versus Gold Terran. So the big things to look out for in the Silver League as a Protoss player are having a heartbeat, whether or not you use hotkeys, and then there's another thing that I think a lot of players but then you have something that a lot of players don't consider. It's your pylon efficiency and necessary infrastructure safety rating. So your first pylons, you don't just put them around willy-nilly. You're not making a bunch of pylons for no reason. Alright? You don't want to be doing that. And I find a lot of Meta League, like, high bronze, low plat players, they're like, pylon, either too many or too few in terrible spots. Like, you can put the pylons in the same spot in the same matchup every game, but you gotta remember where that is. So let's find out if he does.
Another game, another learning opportunity.
Is he a random player? Wow, and he tells his race? I don't even care. Like, the fact we have a gateway on time. Like, the standard's very low. Very low. I'm not going to nitpick, like, oh, maybe a couple too many workers, or the Cyber Core is a little late. Just having... Might not have registered that he's Terran, but whatever. 2 gates, fine. Just spending your money is fine. Which is why I'm very sad you forgot your second pylon. So you had one job. No, you had 2 jobs. Your first job was the first pylon. Second job, second pylon. You got half of it. You got half of it. The second half, unfortunately, you were distracted by all the drama that was happening with your probe somehow magically dying on the other side of the map. But now that you've sacrificed that probe to the blood gods, maybe we'll get our shit together. Nope, we're gonna... Oh, okay. I will give you credit. Another big mistake at those meta leaks is just getting a Nexus. Because you got all these things pinging around in your head. You got like, oh, I gotta go Chrono, and we got gate expand and then probes and all that. Like, it's all pinging around in your head. And a lot of players forget they're already T-railed and their build is pretty much like this. But you did remember you kind of need to not be supply box, so I'll give you that. Did late, but better late than... And now here we go. You see, this is how it starts. You started off... You got out of the gate. Okay, you bursted out of the gate. This is a horse race. Okay? It's a horse race. I don't know if you're the horse or the jockey. Just whatever you're more into. You burst out of the gate, full speed, and then on your second step, you already, like, you broke your ankle. So now we're just gonna try to pick ourselves up from here. On the bright side, he's a chicken. Because he's a Gold League Terran, I assume he's never going to attack. So he's a chicken. So it's a horse with a broken ankle against a chicken. I could have gone with Turtle. I don't know why I didn't go with Turtle. Turtle was right there. Anyways. But we'll see. We'll see where we go from here. Okay. So what are we queuing up? Stalkers? Whatever. Okay. At least it's not Zealots. Oh, there's a Reaper. Now, does the entire plan just go out the window? Thank you, Day 9. Rest in peace.
Your pylon is under attack.
Okay, well, usually, if you don't forget your second pylon, you have units by the time a Reaper is out. But in this case, not as much. Good thing you just kind of killed the Reaper, though. So we're just gonna... This is for you Terran players out there. There's a reason. So I say that up until about Diamond 1, your Reaper is a photographer. It gets in, it sees what's going on, and then it gets out. No weapons, none of that. Because you know what happens? You know what happens if your Reaper is not a photographer? This happens. Alright, wait for it. Oh. Okay, wait, this is a different problem. He just completely ignored... I was like, see, he's banking up so much money. He actually managed to bank up 500 minerals, and he didn't even look at the Reaper. So, an impressive progression on that problem. I don't... That is, okay. We've got Stalker Sentry. It feels like... So the most important thing for Protoss in pretty much every matchup, besides making sure you don't die to like a one base all-in, is your tech. You want to get that tech tree started as soon as possible. Trees take a while to grow. Citation needed. And if you're just gonna... You should not be building your first tech building after Warp Gate is done. That doesn't count. Warp Gate does not count. Warp Gate allows you to warp in more shitty stalkers. That's what it does. Here's a general rule. Take whatever tech building you're gonna build. Call it a robotics or a Twilight or a Stargate. We're just gonna take the most expensive. We're gonna say Stargate. So 150 gas. When you put down that tech building, whatever amount of gas you have left over will kind of denote how much you fucked up. So let's say he wants to put down a Stargate right now. He's got 300 gas. That's 2 Stargates. So having double is, it's pretty bad. Like it's, I guess, it's not gonna ruin your day. It's not terrible. But oftentimes we get to 2 times. Well, that was 2 times. Well, 3 times. You got 450 gas. That's pretty big. And then if you go over 500 gas, you can no longer come in here and be like, Winter, I don't know how to deal with Turtle Terran. Okay? He just builds a bunch of siege tanks and turrets, and I never scout. He had 4 bases on the bottom of the map, and I just don't know how to beat it. Oh gee willikers. Turtle Terrans are so dumb. Or carriers, or broodlords, or whatever the fuck it is. If you are a full minute and a half late on starting your tech tree, and then you're like, why does the shade of this tree not cover my army composition? That's why. That's why. So, at some point, you will have games where you might even get your tech in a decent timing, a reasonable timing. And you'll get to that point where he has 15 siege tanks and 12 turrets, and you can't break it. Okay. But I would venture to say that approximately 75 to 80% of the time, the reason he was able to get there was not because you chose the wrong strategy, but because you were too fucking slow. You, living Spartan right now, too fucking slow. I have no idea how this game plays out, but so far. Get a sentry, because I don't... Why? How did the probe get there? Can't explain that. Now that it's here, he expanded. Good to know. There's the robo. You have 2 robos of gas banked up. If you get a Twilight, I will forgive you a little bit. It'll be like, yeah, I forgive you, and you'll still kind of bring it up for a while. It'll be like, yeah, you didn't take the trash out, and now we have a bunch of trash around. And you're like, I'm sorry, I know I was supposed to take the trash out, I forgot. And you're like, I'll take it out next 2 weeks. Okay, whatever. But then 2 days later, they're like, still got all this trash around. Kind of sucks, right? So, we're not talking about it. We're still gonna take shots. So, that's where we are now on that tech, especially with the Twilight. And then we're gonna add on 2 more gateways. Because overcompensating is a thing. Going in this scenario, like we're going from buying a F-350 to truck nuts here. We're right on that edge. The F-350, yeah, you're compensating for something, especially like you work as an accountant, Jim. Okay, you work as an accountant. You grew up in somewhere. You grew up in Townsville. You don't. What do you? Why do you need a pickup truck? What are you lugging around? Like your cooler of Budweiser to the game? But the game is baseball? It's not even fucking football? Because you don't even have the excuse of pretending to have brain damage related to football. You have baseball. It's called a pastime for a reason. It's because it's for people over the age of 65 to pass the time and not realize 4 hours just went by. That's why there's like 30 seconds between each play. It's even worse than football. Anyways. So you've got a Robo, a Twilight, 2 Forges, and 3 Gates. So you're good for now. But I think we're at severe risk of you slapping on like a Templar Archives and getting some more sentries and a Robo Bay. We'll see. I'm just saying what could happen. Hotkeys? No. The fact he has his next eye hotkeyed is already... He's ahead of the curve. Okay, I'm not worrying about hotkeys right now. Alright. So, we got chrono boosting probes. It's coming together. I like it. You're so close. You're so close. Now, these aren't the worst cannons ever. It's just, these cannons defend exactly this area. This is it. They don't keep anyone from dropping in your base. They don't really defend your probes. It's just like, if he right-clicks some medevacs or liberators past that, I might kill something. It's like, well... And now we all know. Remember, you're at 57 out of 86 supply. Do you need more pylons?
Good. Now I have your attention.
It's not the end of the... That's not too bad. Thank you, why not, Arza?
I like.
More gates, you know what? We're back on track. I'm liking it. Oh my god, a little bit of micro, a little bit of macro, a little bit of storm. Your build is better than the diamond player. Because you didn't jerk off Blink Stalkers for half the game instead of actually learning how to play. This is actually better, because you have upgrades quicker and Templar quicker than our Diamond player. So.
A mineral patch just went kaput.
Now, it's kind of like, it's not really like an apples and oranges situation. It's more like a, Red Delicious versus, what's the good one? What's the actually good apples? Fuck, what are they called? Honey Crisp? Are those the ones? No, it's also like a red apple.
Good.
Honey
Now
Crisp.
I have your attention.
That's good shit right there. Yeah. But, so like, we're still in the same... You get the idea. Okay, so this army is here. And it's scary. You're warping in yet. There's some tanks back there. You know what? Okay, patience, patience. Patience from Zoe. Now, imagine how much better it would be if you, like, say, instead of your units having to be selected each time, you, like, were able to kind of put them in a group and control it. Something to think on.
The probes are falling. Research complete.
I like how you just chopped up. It's like, nope, that base ain't fucking happening. You have enough, by the way. Well, if you knew these 4 tanks were here, but this army defends the bio. I don't blame you. Like, it's fine. It's fine. The fact you were patient enough, you got hit by siege tanks, and you didn't become taken by the bloodlust. Everybody knows the bloodlust. You get hit by siege tanks, you're like, oh, he has a tank. And then you see, oh, there's one more tank. Oh, well, there's a couple, okay, there's like 5 tanks. What? But you're already committed. So the fact you backed off at all, I'll give you credit for that.
They're attacking your base. Start freaking out.
Maybe cancel the base and not give up 300 minerals. You don't have to, though. Oh, I'm sorry. Who was driving this? What? You think 300 minerals are the problem for Mr. 1600 minerals, 300 gas, no control groups? You think that's the issue? Tell me more. No? Okay. Moving on.
Your probe is so upset.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
400 minerals? No, still wrong. Still wrong. Where? Put me back. It's not 400 minerals for a cancel. You get 75% back, which is 300 minerals for a cancel. Let's just make up numbers. We're just making up numbers. 420 minerals for a cancel. If only there was some way, like, to control, you know. Oh, there you go. There's a storm. Okay.
Upgrade complete.
Why? You had a warp prism in his base, and you're like, that would be, nope. I get what you're going for here. This isn't a terrible idea, by the way. Like, yeah, that was actually really sick. But still, like, now,
Just went kaput.
you just don't have enough units, but the ideas were there.
I return to serve.
This is another game, like very, very many of the games we look at, where if either player would simply spend their money, they'd be ahead by 30 supply. But they don't, so they aren't. But you spent your money first, so now we're here.
Time for a timing push. Mineral field.
Moving, we're already like, the basics are there. You need to use control groups. It's actually harder to do what you're doing. You're not using the select army hockey, at least not most of the time. It is much harder to like continually try to select the right units over and over instead of just setting a control group. So you're making it harder, not easier. You're going out of your way to both avoid using the select army hotkey and using control groups. Now we're gonna get blank because, I mean, what else do we get here? So you might be like, well, now the Protoss is way ahead. They even have Archons and Storm and great upgrades. So it's gonna get tough, but this game should be wrapping up. No, we got 13 more minutes because this is the Goldish League.
Upgrades done. Mineral research complete.
I think you had a kiss. So Dakota as well. Everybody knows attacking is far too scary.
Guys are exhausted. Just go kill them. Days when they just
The best thing to do, as we see here, when you have a significant advantage in army composition, in upgrades, in even economy, is to sit back and let your opponent catch up, because that would be only sporting. That is quite a zombie toss army.
What a macro legend.
Yeah, like, you've been maxed out. You could have been maxed out a while ago, but you don't, like, you can send out Zealot. This is another situation where the lack of using control groups is making things very hard.
Patch just went kaput.
This is why your games take 26 fucking minutes of both your and my time. Well, this is going to be over 26 minutes at this rate, but
A mineral patch just went kaput.
if you want to actually know the late game, if you were actually going late game, you'd have a couple Stargates, you'd have more than 8 gates, maybe another couple bases, some cannons. But you've kind of just spent the last 2 minutes crossing your T's and dotting your I's, but not realizing you were writing an invisible ink and nobody can see it. Because you just kind of scouted around with observers without getting anything that's going to help you more if you sit back and do nothing.
Mineral field depleted. Upgrade complete. For a timing push.
I love how... This is one of my favorite, like, Meta League Terrans. No matter what, you go on long enough, they're gonna go for the big mechanical robots or ships. You go for the big ships or the big robots. Doesn't matter what else you're doing, gonna be Thors and or battle cruisers. No matter what the matchup, whatever upgrades, fuck it. We're going for the robots. Like,
Mineral field empty.
okay, so you're allowed to take... I'm already very proud of you. It is almost unheard of that a Protoss of this level will take a 4th base. Ever. Before, like, their first 3 bases mine out. So, I'll give you that. But you could build a Nexus on every location on this map, and then have a co-op Nexus right next to it for moral support, and still have enough money to rebuild your entire army of Zealots. I'm not doing the math on that, but it's close.
Mineral field empty. Send those workers to Vespine guys.
Like, if you just aim moved into this army,
Mineral field depleted.
your blue balls are giving me blue balls right now.
Attention.
Just attack. Or get a late game army, like a fucking mothership or something. Yes, he's turtling.
Mineral field empty.
The answer is Tempest, by the way,
To free up supply.
if you really want to know. Or you could just continually scout with observers and be like, well, he has a lot of strong units. Oh shit, you're... Excuse me, my friend. I have one question. What the fuck? You only have 68, like... It's not like you got probes to burn. You realize to get here, your probes passed, like, 3 other bases they could have built, right? Like...
Base is under attack.
I thought I had too many. Then why not, like... I thought these were zealots. I'm like, oh, he's finally making a move. No, no, no. Everybody knows your whole army... This is called giving up the initiative. Okay. What you've done right now is you're like, I really want to ask this girl to homecoming, okay? I really want to ask her out. I like her. I like her a lot. Okay, I'm working up the courage. I'm gonna get it done. And you had all the time. You had weeks. Weeks. And then some other guy swoops in with 2 medevacs and 16 Marines, and she falls for him, and you're like, ah, fuck! And now you decide, ah, fuck it, why do I want to live anymore? Let's attack into siege tanks and liberators. We're mixing metaphors a little bit.
No, our pylon is under attack. How'd this happen?
They're just planetary. What is oh, well, oh. Oh, I guess you just win. Okay. And this is why your games take 25 minutes. You had that same army, essentially, with a smaller bank for the last 10 minutes. And of course, GG into not leaving the game, because I've still got some Marines. The reason for everyone, I'm gonna give that actually an A-, though. You get an A-. If you're truly silver. You're gonna be gold, you're gonna be plat. Alright, it'd be a B+ in lower plat. So, high bronze, low plat. That was solid. Besides not winning the game when you could have just... Anyways. The reason why it is... Like, players don't GG back at the higher level, because at the lower level, people are, like, waiting for you to GG back, like it's polite. Because there's a history. In Brood War... In, like, the Korean Pro Leagues, the only things you were allowed to type in the match, at all, you were not allowed to type GLHF. Because the timing of the GLHF might have made people suspicious and, like, mind games that shouldn't be in the game. And the only 2 things you could type were PP, not what you think, please pause, as in, like, there's a technical issue, or GG. And as soon as you type GG, you have forfeit the match. Now, we don't go by those super strict rules now, but essentially, it means, like, if you type GG and you don't leave, people aren't thinking, oh, I should type GG back, that was a good game. They're thinking, where are the fucking DTs? And that's not sporting. So that is why, at the higher level, nobody GG's back. And honestly, people try to leave the game because it's kind of tilting if you fuck up leaving the game quickly enough that they have enough time to GG back. Because you don't want to see that shit. You want to get the fuck out of there. So, that is why... It's not polite to GG back or wait for a GG back, like so many Metal Leaguers do. Alright, we had one from Biggie Snacks, who was... This is the charity from me. I don't know why, but he struck me. Like he said, he just got to Diamond. And how can he get to Masters? He is a former Plat Zerg who just got to Diamond. He's still here? And let me take this time real quick. Let me remind you guys we've got a deal going on. If you subscribe today, I get more money. Limited time only. Alright. So, Zerg versus Terran. And this is Flat Diamond. Whatever. Thank you, Choco Cake. Gift and the Biggie Snacks as well. We're gonna hope we can make it to 3 minutes without me having to pause anymore.
More money.
Thank you, George.
Is the love not enough?
So your first Overlord is just kind of sauntering into the base. Like, you can put overlords in the same spot. Wait, why is it here? You could put it here, on this little pervert pillow. But you just don't. Like, why not? What are you scouting here? I didn't even know this place existed. Like...
Good. Now I have your attention.
Well, that's not the right place to put it.
What a deal of a lifetime.
Just copy it. Like, you can... That's something you can literally steal from... pretty much any Zerg player at a higher level. The Overlords go in the same place 95% of games in a matchup. So thank you, Junderland. Did you forget? Oh, no, never mind. You got 655 minerals. You're not building any queens. You know what?
Good.
The best unit
Now
that
I
Zergs
your
have,
attention.
especially against Terran in the early game thing, you make a
some salty coaching
queens.
less than
You're not
free.
building any queens. You have money. You're like, how do I spend my money? Queens. You want to defend. Queens. You want to spread creep. Queens. You don't want to spend your larva. Queens. And you're just not. Like, oh no. Oh no. One of the biggest issues, this is where your plan ends, isn't it? Because what I think is about to happen, because you just kind of forgot queens exist, it's time for the YOLO lair. The YOLO lair is when you build a lair because you have 100 gas. And that's it. It's like, well, okay, I guess I build a lair now. There's no plan. There's no follow-up. Thank you, Rick Jiggles.
Attention.
Away we go! One moment. Thank you, Will Jiggles, as well, for 7 months. I'm sorry, you get your attention. The yellow lair. No, like, do you really think... I have watched more Platinum Zerg games than games you have played in your short career. You're gonna be like, well, I played 1,000 games. I've probably watched 1,000 games. I don't know how many 1,000 games you played. Everyone thinks they're special, or at least in some way, but they're all very special in similar ways. Oh, now we got a roach one. You're kind of salvaging it a little. I'll give you that. Now, without queen, like, there's no reason not to be building queens. You literally cannot spend your money. There's nothing else to build besides queens. And you know what this is going to lead to? Like, well, I can't spend my money, I need more gas. But you don't have that many drones, so you don't really need more gas, and you'll have less mineral income. And that becomes a constant, like, vicious cycle of, oh, now I don't have enough. Like, there's the gases. We're gonna kill 2 drones to get gas because we forgot queens exist. And then just no creep spread at all. Queens, building queens is not a bad thing. Let me point this out. It is very important I point this out right now, because we need a basis for comparison. And you said you got to Diamond. This is a game before you got to Diamond, but you're close. StarCraft is a relatively simple game. Now, you are not following the ideal path. You have a winding road here, but you're eventually getting to where it looks like you're going to build a bunch of roaches with drones. You don't have creep spread. The lair exists for reasons that you didn't really understand, but now you're going to make use of. That's one thing. Your opponent is going for building armor, Neo-Steel armor, as his first upgrade. 2 types of people. You might be like, what does that mean? That means he has absolutely no intention of attacking and will have no capability, so the only way you can fuck this up is by continually A-moving or right-clicking up ramps in the siege tanks instead of remembering that Vipers or Broodlords or any of the above or upgrades exist. So, now you're building the queens. You got 1,200 minerals. You can't have 1,200 minerals at... Nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. There's nothing. You have 156 actions per minute, which is a surprisingly high number for someone who has approximately 10 actions per minute. You don't even have 50 drones yet. Okay, now you're building more. I'll give you credit for that. I'll give you credit. You built more drones. A lot of players would have been like, now I just build roaches because I have money. But drones were the right call. Getting to 60 drones? Okay. Good to go. We've invented creep spread. Like, it's better to have more money and not know how to spend it rather than not have enough money to spend. So, that's the struggle. My tip, every time you have 1,000 minerals and no larva, that's not a problem you have right now, but 1,000 minerals and no larva, you put down another hatch. It doesn't matter if that hatchery is in your base or at a new expansion. In fact, past 3 bases, you might want to consider just slapping one in the main or something. But you might be like, well, like, I don't really need a... No, you need another hatch. Because you know what's going to happen. If you can't spend your money when he's doing nothing but sitting behind his Neo-Steel bunkers and siege tanks, what's going to happen when you try to do anything else? You're struggling and there's no pressure at all besides the existential threat of ever losing a game at anything. So, you're going to need the larva. I'm not saying right this second. I'm saying in general.
Good. Now I have your attention.
6 months.
No, you can't do this. Like, if you want to get from Diamond to Masters, this cannot happen. This is unacceptable. Now, this guy is never going to get to... Well, he'll probably get to Diamond off the backs of Zerg players who like to kill themselves. But you cannot have 2,765 minerals, 1,350 gas. You just can't. You can't do that. There's nothing happening. There's no... You gotta do something. And I think you need to slow down. That's what you need. I have, on my YouTube, getting to Masters as random with an average of 100 actions per minute. Sometimes I go a little over, but the max is 120. With a 95% win rate. I lost like 2 games out of 50. You can do a lot with 100 actions per minute if you're actually making useful actions. You somehow have 150 APM, 2,700 minerals, and nothing has happened. And you're like, well, now look, I built roaches, and you still got 2,000 minerals. Oh, of course, the double nidus. Why didn't I think of that as a incredible... Why not build 7 more niduses? You got the money. So the worst thing you can do... I want to see... Here's a hard... This is hard. He's on 2 bases. You're on 4. You are under no obligation to, like, all in here. So this game either ends in a few minutes or it goes over 20, which means he throws away all of these roaches and then some. I'm gonna say ends in a few minutes. I'm not mad. I'm disappointed. Like, you're on 4 bases. The correct answer is you get Roach Hydra, you go to Hive, you get Broodlords, you win the game.
Thanks for providing.
And since that obviously is not going to happen, I'd like to welcome you back. This is not quite accurate, but Platinum League plebeians. We have our Turtle Terran Judah, who has a bunch of Cyclones and is going for a planetary at his 3rd. And then we have Rocket, who is getting all of the tech, nidusing his opponent's base, where there are more Cyclones than the Indian Ocean. Now, the thing is here, Rocket, if he loses 10 roaches for every unit killed, that's still fine. It's not great.
Now I have your attention.
But, I mean... Thank you, Nankum. No Staro, the Pixies. Thank you, guys. As you can tell, we're gonna slide right back into coaching for a split second. This is very simply not how you get to Masters from Diamond. I know, it's a long journey. But if this is the production tab, that roach just started right at the end of this. If this is the production tab, and these are the banks, no matter which side you're on, you are not getting to Masters. Now, the thing is, a lot of players forget this part. It's very common to forget this part. Because this game goes on for 13 more minutes. Most players will remember how it ends, and they might remember the last 5 minutes or so. But everybody forgot. There are 4,000 minerals and 3,400 minerals. The Zerg player doesn't realize he's up by literally 100 supply. And all he's gotta do is not throw all his roaches away in the worst possible, like, worst engagement since your mom's third wedding. Okay? Like, that's it. That's all that has to happen. Down goes the planetary. Alright. Progress made. Of course, TPM is the response. You know what? I may have been a little hard on Rocket here. He's making the calls. He's got Brood Lords on the way. He's got Roaches. The Terran player not gonna give up. Of course, the Fusion Core on the way. Not one, not two, not three. Okay, 3 starports. This is actually, he's building all the units. Alright. So, the early mid-game, there's a lot of struggle. Maybe not the best place for those battle cruisers to go, but there were no great options. So there's still 8 minutes in this match. I'm interested to see if there's any way that Rocket can fuck it up. He could expand to every base on the map 3 times. Oh, this is one way. Freeing up supply. Yes. As everyone knows, the best thing to free up supply, so that way you can make Zerglings. Which have speed, and plus 3 carapace. A very valuable use. There is a small chance he just wants to make a bunch of banelings and troll him. But we're not at the point where you've 100% won yet. I'm not sure yet. Especially when you're going to throw away... Yeah, there are 70 more Zerglings. This is possibly the only way to not win the game. Like, there are so many... I'm trying to think. Any other unit in the game. I'm trying to think. Let me just... did you guys know this exists? Let's take a look. Okay, drones obviously wouldn't be great. We're gonna discount drones. Mass Corruptor is... Okay, maybe Mass Corruptor. Every single other unit would be better than essentially unupgraded legs. Mass Queen would be better. Queens would be better. No, Swarm Hosts would be way better. Even if they all died and only half of them used their Locust. What a choke point. Loses all the Vipers. The units lost tab. Well, is there any way our Zerg loses? Oh my god. Well, there go all the Brood Lords. There goes a bunch of the Lings and Banes. The Terran is now ahead on supply. And of course, this is the time when we get a Hydra done. 34 more Lings. Oh my god. He's done it. He's done the impossible. He's lost the game. They said it couldn't be done. They said it couldn't be done. All right. He has enough money to build, like, he could restart the game with no income and no drones, rebuild, get up to Hydras, and build enough Hydras to counter this army with just the bank he has right now, and he's still gonna lose. Well, actually, wait. Where did all the larvae go? To 50 billion useless Zergling. That's what it did. Lost 430 units this game. Almost, like I meant, literally, I honestly, like, I'm impressed. If you threw any harder, you should be in Major League Baseball, not fucking Platinum. And then no GG. Of course, everybody knows Terran with their Neil Steel armor first, turtle on 2.5 bases into defending Nidus all in. Like, we're still at the point where, like, anything. He could have done anything. Mutas, Swarm House, Ultralisks. Honestly, even Corruptors, maybe, if he knows what Caustic Spray is. But he, like, such a beautiful and unlikely path to defeat. I'm impressed. I didn't know, like, incredible. Incredible. A pleasure to witness. Thank you. So this is a hard one to score, by the way. Because, like, we're going to score on a Diamond 3 scale. If the game didn't... If it ended like it should have with Broodlord, Corruptor, Roach Hydra just winning, at Diamond 3, I would give it like a C+, or a... No, it'd be more like a B- in the Hope score. But because of that display, I'm sorry. I think you're right where you belong. It's C. You got some work to do. Like, it's right on the dot. I'm not surprised you got Diamond, but it's gonna be a lot of work to get any further. I don't think you should be going back to Platinum. Because a lot of games, they won't have the tenacity of that Terran player. That Terran player, might I remind you, was on 2 bases, down 160 to 62 supply, against a Zerg player who had a larger bank than, well, maybe not Jeff Bezos, but, I don't know, Bill Gates. And he's still stuck in there. Like, a lot of Terrans would have just given up. But he didn't. He might not have known he was in such a terrible spot. In fact, I think it's likely he didn't know. And that was his strength. The heart of a Terran. So thank you for that. We had one from HSSA. I don't even know if you're still here. Oh, thank you, Game Time. By the way, welcome back. I missed that. And Sean. I've got Sean's first. Now, aren't we blessed? Aren't we blessed here today? It's another Diamond Zerg. Aren't we excited? I'm the top. Oh. I just assumed you were Zerg. Okay, fair. You're the Protoss. Never mind.
Good. Now I have your attention.
Against the
Less than
diamonds.
3.
Thank you, Frisky Badger. Let's break this down. Let's break it down. There's a few things. First thing, you need to pull a probe down. This probe comes out too late to build the gate. Not only that, but this rally point is a mess. Not only are you repeating a bunch of the same action, but it's not even the right action. So, it's double whammy. Thank you, Andy. Like, look at your minerals now. You're going to be building the gate at 200. You got 65 minerals left over. Like, that's not even the right time. That's just wrong. You might be like, Winter, does that 3 seconds really matter? At this level, no. I wouldn't even mind that much. I wouldn't even mind if it wasn't the rally point bullshit. The rally point bullshit is what makes it an issue. Because not only are you demonstrating you don't know you're wrong, but you're doubling down on your wrongness. Do some of that, like, mining micro. Okay, so is this one of those scouts that's like, I scout it because that's what it says in the guide? Or is it a scout like, oh, he doesn't have a spawning pool, that's weird. Is that a wall? I think it is, I'm pretty sure. Maybe? Well, we'll find out.
Good. Now I have your attention.
Last weekend
Okay,
I had you
okay.
on at a lodge at Killington for like 6 hours.
Thank you.
Kept a constant crowd. People were very entertained. D.
Well, I'd hope so. Thank you, Zixer. By the way, Killington sounds like a place that should either be in Fortnite or some sort of cult. Moving on. So, if you were using your brain head, you could be like, oh, his spawning pool was pretty late because he went hatch first. I don't need a second gate. I don't need a wall. I don't need to waste money to lay my tech in my probes because he can't have Zerglings. He's literally making Zerglings right now. They can't be here for another minute. This gateway doesn't need to exist. But we all know that scouting probe was more like, well, you're supposed to scout, so I scouted. Deal with it. That's what it says in the guide, so I scouted. I gotta... It does look like you should be able to get through there, right? Like, okay, you know what? We're close enough. We're close enough to the right, though. Usually you build a... So, here's what happened. So you've just accepted you die if you Baneling bust, right? Because you didn't scout with the Adept at all. You're just like, if he did a Baneling bust, you just die. Game over. The entire point of making an Adept early, and then a second Adept, is so you can go out and see, is he making a bunch of Zerglings? Is he getting a third? In this case, you're not going to get punished, because he's not making a bunch of Zerglings or Banelings. The point is, we all know scouting for you is more like something you do and pretend like you're scouting as opposed to actually getting any useful information. Now you're making a Void Ray. And we have to ask ourselves, how much damage have you done to yourself by going Stargate? So we're going to be supply blocked at 54. This Robo has no purpose in life. There's no Twilight Council. 300 gas in the bank. Can't warp anything in. No third base. But you killed, what, 4 drones? What a god. Value. Like, you just screwed over your entire build because you went Stargate. I know every pro player goes Stargate, and there's a reason behind that. That reason is because they can micro a unit and not forget everything they wanted to do at home for a full minute. Unfortunately, we haven't cleared that bar yet. Because that Twilight Council is a full minute late. All these gateways are like, well, I got supply blocks, so I have a lot of minerals I don't know what to do with. You built a Void Ray because it makes you feel safe, not because it's actually useful. But the thing is, the beauty of that Void Ray is it doesn't feel like a waste of money. And it's not, because you forgot to get any other tech anyways. So it didn't really slow down your tech. You're already too slow. So that's fine. Ah yes, the classic build 3 zealots and hope for the best strat. This is like everything you did kind of pointed towards an Archon drop build, besides the lack of drop or Archons. And now we're going to warp in Stalkers, so that way we can get the variety pack of Protoss gateway units that we don't know what to do with. Here's the Templar Archives. Wait. No, and the Templar Archives. But you gotta put it in the main, because there's not enough space. Oh. Okay, so you got distracted by not microing your Oracle. There's that. Now the Templar Archives. This will determine whether there's even a little bit of hope. There it is. Okay, so he has Zerg things. We're just gonna go ahead and a few comments. While this build is a dumpster, it's trash. At least it's not a dumpster fire, which would indicate it. Well, that's worse. That's worse. So, like, you can pull it out, clean it up. There, like, you got all the basics here. So they're all slow. If you have 900 gas and your Templar Archives just started, obviously your build is not very precise. And if you're wondering why Zerg players always seem like they have so much, that might be why. But you built probes. You at least pretended like you wanted a third in a timely manner, so that was good. You got a Robo, you got a Twilight. Like, all the pieces are coming together. They're just taking their time. Remember, this was all delayed. We're going to build some more Stalkers, because Stalkers are for people who can't commit to anything in life and forget how to actually accomplish anything besides, I don't know. Stalkers are the retweeting, the retweeting of meaningful and powerful statements that you don't have the balls to make yourself of things. It's like, well, it made me feel good, though. I built these Stalkers, so, I did that. I'm accomplishing something, but really, those Stalkers are just a waste of time. What are the Stalkers for? Why are you building Stalkers? In what scenario would Charge Lots not be better? If he's going mutas. Okay, if you think he's going mutas, like, why not build some... Anyway. Just a bunch of stuff. Well, they shoot up, Winter. What if you need anti-air? If only Archons weren't way better in every sense. What do you want from me? Are we going to remember the Templar Archives? Now. We're going to remember it now. Remember! Jesus Christ. We've got another Zerg player that's gonna go Nidus, which is amusing. I'm too scared to attack with an actual army, so I go Nidus. Oh, jeez. You see that in your... Oh! Did you just lose every single Templar like 3 seconds before Storm? Impressive. I said it was sloppy. Well, that was built in. We already knew that. Thus the dumpster. I like how you pretended you were going to use control groups for a while. Like, you got some units on control groups, but we all know the select all army hotkey's been a staple for the last, like, 3 minutes. Why Stalkers? In what scenario are Stalkers better against Hydras than Archon Charge Left? Stalkers are for people who panic easily. It's like, well, I don't know what to build. It's the I'm building 80 Zerglings for no reason of Protoss. Like, let's look at the cost of your army. 1875, 725. We're just going to ignore that you have more than that in the bank right now. We're going to ignore that. How could we dole out 1875, 725? 2 Archons, a Sentry for Guardian Shield. That's 700 gas. We'll call it good. And that's going to be 100, 200, 250, and then 15 charge lots. 2 Archons, a Sentry, and 15 charge lots. Or 11 Stalkers. What army seems stronger? He doesn't even have Zergling speed, which he's realizing now. You know what's better than having cannons in a position where they can kind of cover each other and reduce surface area? Modern art. I predict this game will be 1 or close to 1 when he discovers... Oh, there we go. There's Archons. The reason it feels like it's so difficult to fight Zerg is because you could have built this exact same army at the exact same supply with the exact same upgrades 4 minutes quicker. 4 minutes ago, he had 100 supply. But you could have had the same thing if you didn't horribly mismanage everything. And it's not even like if you had more APM. It was like just not warp in a bunch of Stalkers and forget a Templar archives. That was the difference.
From the shadows hide.
Okay. So... Possibly... Well, good thing you saved an Archon and 2 Stalkers there. You know what we need against Roach Hydra Swarm Host? You know what we need? We got money in the bank. We could warp in anything. We even got a Dark Shrine. You could literally warp in anything. Nailed it. Okay. So what is it? I'm gonna write this timing down, because this is an important one. This is an important one. We're gonna write this all down. We got... 2, 2, Roach Hydra. I'm too lazy to do this. I was gonna do like a scenario where if instead of warping a bunch of Stalkers, you had like 9 Archons, how well that would do. I'm too lazy for that. That would take too much work. Just, you know Archons would be. You know. Like, unbind the Stalker warping key. I don't know. Just unbind it. Alright. What a mess. Let's start clicking it, like... You have enough money. You could still, despite all this, you could still warp in 5 more Archons. Or you could lose your whole army. Well, now that all the Stalkers died, maybe you'll think, like... Maybe we'll take a different turn. Maybe we won't go down the same path. Maybe we'll figure out something else to build. 11 DTs. Alright, okay. You know, that's even better. Like, that's better than Stalkers. Archons, too. The problem is, it takes like 4 tower defense waves of Stalkers before you realize Archons are good. And by that point, they don't seem as good because he has Broodlord. What is this army doing? Jesus Christ. Crushing it. Until... You didn't even get blink? Oh, you did get blink. Okay. Now is the time for Stalkers. This is the only time. The rest of the game, the Stalkers were a complete terrible choice. You might be like, well, Alpha Star and pro players use Stalkers. Yeah. Right now, it's like a monkey using a computer. Okay? You can bang on the keys and make things happen, but you're not going to be able to get much out of it. That's just like you with Blink Stalkers. Finally. Now we're building more Star. We're getting baited in again. The fuck? Do I really have to do this in Twitch chat? If you automatically think, and now, mods, I'm gonna warn you behind this. Me saying the word monkey implies racism, like it has some kind of connotation. That was obviously not what I meant, and you might very well be the racist. The fuck? It's a Twitch meme? Fucking Twitch! Jesus Christ. This is why I hate Twitch chat. Okay. Are you gonna lose? Like, no. Okay, this is the time. This is when you don't lose your army. All you need to do right now is not lose your whole army. That's the only thing you need to not do. You somehow survived all this. And you didn't. Okay. And then build 10 more Archons. Oh, jeez. The solution, everything in life is better with 10 more Archons. How has this gone wrong?
Now I have your attention.
What is... This game went off the rails a while ago. This is another one, like, I'd say at least 80%. 80% of games in Diamond, even through Diamond, and in through Masters too, even lower Masters, simply could be chalked up to if you did your build 20% better, we would have never gotten here and you would have already won. Why is he leaving? What? What's happening? What? He's like, oh wait, I have Swarm House. I must have forgotten about those. I'm not even sure what... Oh no, he just leaves. Yeah, you made that way harder than it needed to be. The summary is build Archons more. Honestly, unless you scout a Spire, I feel like you should just unbind the Stalker key. From Warp Gate, you can still build a Stalker to deny scouting for your shitty DT builds. But, like, Archons are that good. Really, though. Okay, what was the... Let's just do a scenario here.
Good. Now I have your
Real quick. Before we get into... We have one more match after this. Let me see what level it is. What it is. Oh, God. It's like unranked or silver? Jesus Christ. Well, let's have an intelligent conversation before we do the exact opposite. Wait, oh, Storms, did you send one in? You didn't link the replay and I never got it. I was talking about a different one. Your gold? Thank you, Apparition 69969. So, here's the summary. We're gonna try to get similar armies to that last game, and we're just gonna A-move. Or maybe even micro the Stalkers. So, Army 1. Like, we'll say 14 Stalkers and a couple Zealots that had 2-2 and charge. Against just 40 supply. The costs are relatively similar. 700 gas here. And the Zerg has 2-2. And Roach Speed and Hydra upgrades. So, we're not even adding in Swarm Host here. So, we're just gonna have them attack each other. Straight up. I put the Roaches in front, because everybody has the Roaches in front, right? I'd be like, what about Blink Stalker micro and all that? That's not the point here. We don't want to micro, because micro is hard, and we're banking 2,000 minerals during this. So, in this exact scenario, the Hydras win. Super easy. Don't forget the Immortals. No. Like, it's the army cost. In the army I was talking about, it was just the stock. I'm just demonstrating smaller engagement. So, 1950, 700. That's what we're on. And then we'll get a Sentry. We'll use the Guardian Shield. Exact same army value. Alright. Move the Roaches and Hydras, the Roaches in front. And then attack. The only thing I'm gonna do is activate Guardian Shield. Otherwise, attack, Archon, you piece of shit. Exact same army value. Exact same. Exact same cost. Archons are really good. And also, they allow you to make more charge lots, which are also really good. And you might be like, well, he had Blink. He could have Blink microed. Oh, he was gonna micro. Ah, I didn't consider that. My in-game name is interesting. That's about the limit of it. And this is unranked. Or silver-ish. I think one of the players is silver. And it is not a short game, so we're gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna go ahead. If something goes wrong, you will hear this sound. So far, you should be building probes. The pylon was early. You can tell because, like, the camera, I'm on his camera, it's just not moving. That's how you know. Okay, we're gonna scout. No, you don't get second pylon before Cyber Core, but whatever. I guess it's better than not getting your second pylon. Sentry first. Whatever. Another gate and pylon. I can't even, like, say that's wrong because we're so low level, just building units and not a forge is already a breakthrough. It's very scary to expand. Warp Prism. Interesting. Charge. Like, the Warp Prism is kind of there for dramatic effect. Gonna queue up 5 probes on one of the Nexi. Also, control groups. Control groups? Psh, what are you talking about?
Get the fuck out of here!
None of that shit. Why use control groups when you can just click everything? God, then you don't even have to use a keyboard.
Good. Now I have
Thank you,
your
Kolish.
attention.
Kolsh. The Terran, of course, is getting his high-sec auto-tracking out of the way. Very important. Now, the real question is the TPM high enough to snipe the Warp Prism? Very important to note. Maybe. Alright, here we go. This Immortal. Making all the difference. Welcome back to Silver League Snowflakes. Close enough. There is no more coaching to be had here. We have Interesting versus Jaeger. Jaeger has, he's still on one base. He's got some siege tanks. He's got some turrets. Unfortunately, doesn't quite have that full turret ring he's looking for. If only that Immortal could, if only he could get that Immortal in there. If only he could get that Immortal. That Immortal got his base. Then that would make all the difference. That's the whole strat. Okay, let's just get that Immortal. Just gotta get that Immortal in there. Okay? That'll solve everything. Unfortunately, the turret ring is coming together. Gotta get that Immortal. I love the neatly arranged bases on both sides, I gotta say. Impressive. For the dozens of actions these players are making. I'm gonna do some long distance mining. And then we're gonna drop some of the Marines, because walking them is too old school. Get that Immortal! Now if we just warp in some... No, they don't all fit in the prism. Everybody knows, moving out with your massive main army. Too easy. Don't even consider it. Especially not when you could just build more warp prisms to carry the rest of your army across the map. And now he's going to be teching into his Arbiter to recall his army. Yes. Why attack with your whole army and reveal your full strength when you could attack with, like, a quarter of your army, and then he'll never suspect that you have 8 Immortals back at home. Yeah. Big brain plays. Never thought about that, did you? Yeah, now he has no idea. He's like, I just killed everything. I got this shit. He may have scanned multiple times, but... Now, you might not realize. but if you look very closely, that's not one, but two. Or... How interesting. The warp prisms travel in packs to hide their numbers. And now the next wave of tower defense. Now, if at some point Interesting unlocks his full build, which includes literally 7 immortals at home, he's never discovered 2-2 upgrades, and we finally made our way to the ultimate tech choice. He got the Fleet Beacon, he got the Storm, he got the 1-1, and now finally he's unlocked the Chad Ray. Oh, I'm gonna go in. Still not incredible, but the Storm's pretty good. Oh, and now, for his final trick, is the massive Protoss army scans doing things. We're almost kind of... You might be like, wow, this Protoss player, he's macroed hard. He's built 42 whole probes. Don't have too many problems. Alright. The tank's finally finding some action on the high ground. The Neo-Steel bunkers gonna hold the line. One Immortal finding an opportunity to kill the tanks. The rest of the Immortals gonna slide right by. You know, if they just get the Immortal! Get the Immortal in there! Just get it! Get your Immortals! Get in there! Fuck! Just gotten that Immortal in there. This is the classic situation where literally if he had pressed the select all army hotkey, A clicked to the other corner of the map, and then like gone and got microwaved some pizza rolls, he would have come back to the victory screen. But with lots of micro and no pizza rolls, he threw away his entire fucking army. The unit's lost tab tells quite a story. The War Prisms sussed out. Like, it was really tough. We had a player earlier who grasped defeat from the wide jaws of victory. I don't think this is quite that. This isn't that. In order for that to be the case, I think either of these players would have to understand what those things meant. And I'm not sure we're there. And now everybody knows the unit you need to build when you lose your whole army because you decided they didn't want to attack and they just died horribly. There's only one unit that can save the day. The most cost-effective, cheap, expendable, effective unit against siege tanks and bunkers alike. Of course, the Stalker. Kappa. Everybody knows expanding to a fourth base that is not in the corner. The fact he expanded to a third that wasn't in the corner of the map is already impressive for both these players. So... carriers. Here comes another. Get the Immortals at the base! What happened to the wrong buzzers? It only lasts 2 seconds. I can't set it to continuous. Just get the immortals in the base. Just get them in there. If I just get the immortals, we could just get. Okay. Oh, he's getting his pizza rolls. Oh no! No, go back to the microwave. No. You gotta like the first one was good, but the second one has like the frozen stuff in the middle. You gotta go back. You gotta reheat them. Okay, they didn't cook all the way through. You should have cooked it on like 70%. Okay, use a toaster oven like a civilized human being, not a fucking barbarian. And now comes the ultimate death army. Unupgraded carriers, 1/1 blank stalkers and zealots, a handful of immortals, a couple warp prisms, observers, sentry. Uh-oh. The tank's still there. They've been there the whole game. There's dozens of Marines lined up behind the walls of Helm's Deep. No planetary here. Here come the Marines! Terran! Where are the storms? Climate change happened. There are no storms. Not anymore! Here comes the stim! The Marines, they stim again! How did the carrier die? The force field, he blinks into the Marines! Where the stalkers were protected before, he found a way to get rid of them, freeing up supply. The Marines will retreat. Interceptors will be rebuilt. The back and forth. The Marines come in for another pass. Interceptors gunned out of the sky. The upgrades on the Marines, 3-1. Soon to be +2 armor. He's gonna warp in a few more charge lots. Is it gonna make the difference? The Marines ripping through everything. And just when the Terran player seemed like he was gonna break through and kill everything, he went for the classic no pizza roll right click right into the center of the Protoss army and lost all his opportunity to actually win the game here. As you see here on the instant replay, all the Marines died of the charge lots. And then the charge lots died of the tanks, the circle of life. While our Protoss player has lost almost twice as much, he also has built almost twice as much. You're a Terran player. You're a Terran player. You just scan this. The Great Wall of Cannons that don't actually defend anything. What do you do? Just mull that over for a second. He spent over almost 2,000 minerals on those goddamn cannons. All right. And they are defending. They're not even defending a base, because he could just go around, which everybody. That's hard to consider at this level. It's like that is decadence. That is decadence right there. He didn't need those cannons, but he wanted those cannons, so he got those cannons. And just when it looked like he would break through, the Marines, the few, the proud, the Marines hold the line against the carriers and then run into the side blades of charge lots and then run back to the Neil Steel bunker. The double prism. Literally the campaign. We are not 100% sure. That interesting, despite sending me crisp United States dollars via the internet. Thus, if you think about it a little bit, questioning the value of money in general, if it can just be sent through bits and bytes and ones and zeros. Even though he did that, we're not entirely sure he is not the campaign, because he's got double prism, 2 carriers, no upgrades. He seemingly forgot Templar, 20 cannons in the middle of fucking nowhere, and bases strewn throughout the map in completely suspicious locations. Not 100% sure it's not the campaign. And just get into the focus! The boys are pulled! There is literally no mining for Jaeger. He is at... Okay, almost literally no mining for Jaeger. Can't he phase the cannons to a different location? This is not co-op. No, he might not know that. This base very close to being in the right spot. And now that the Protoss have been knocked back to the Stone Age and have been denied, like he already tried Immortals. Can't use Immortals. Vendias can't use Immortals. Already tried Stalkers. Can't use Stalkers. What else do we have? Kaloxin scans a... I don't even know what he's scanning now. Kaloxin, the final tech. As they go back to their corners. The unit's lost tab tells a dramatic story. Another scan. Another one. Another one. Another... I don't even know what he's scanning. But here come the Marines. The Marines with their 3-2 upgrades. The Marines with their 12 medevacs. The Marines with 20 SCVs. He's gonna stim, but can he win? He's going through the cannons. The Nexus is gonna crumble. Only a couple pylons behind, but that's 6 Colossi. No, don't go for the pylon. There's a shield battery. The thermal lances, they may not be fully extended, but still pretty good. And the mechanical Protoss forces, the Marines are in retreat. Jaeger desperately trying to figure out what to do. The Colossi, he's on a move. As long as Interesting doesn't micro, he may have the game. Oh, there's like 12 DTs, but it doesn't matter. The immolated masses of dozens of Marines. The Dark Templar will step over their corpses. And Jaeger has been defeated.
I hope it gets better with time. Yeah, I hope it gets better with time. Better with time.
What I hope it gets better with time. I'm gonna go ahead. Storms BG, Stardust Pyro.
You can say
There's just...
interesting.
This has taken too long, my voice is dying. Will you be here tomorrow? Can we do it tomorrow? I can put all my energy in it. It's been an hour plus of these. Just hit me up. You know I'm good for it. If you guys enjoy this angry coach / letter experience, make sure to smash that like button. You might be like, Winter, you're on Twitch, not YouTube. I can multitask. I'm a StarCraft player, and I'm a higher league than whatever we just saw all of those games. But make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll get more money. And also, you support esports and really support the channel and the community, and fuck off. Thank you, Twitch chat. Thank you, YouTube comments. I appreciate it. And